So in this lecture, we are going to start from list comprehension. In lecture one, we learn about basic data types and the list and slicing. And at the end, we learn how to write for loops. In this lecture, we will be starting with list comprehension. So just take an example. Here we have an array and list of 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say we want to perform a task in which we want to take a square of each element. So how we can do that? In Python, what we can simply do is, let's say we declare our array, square array, and then we are going to run for loop on the nums for I nums, and then we are going to append an element before squaring it. So here, when we print square, we will see that we will have the square array of nums. But in Python, this code is too much. How we can minimize our code? How we can convert this into one-liner? So Python gives us that option in which we can use list comprehension. So this is the list comprehension code which we can write to convert this list into squares. So what the pattern does is that in list comprehension you have to write square bracket. After that, if you are running for loop, let's say we have nums a list, so we are just going to for element in nums. So what we are saying that extract each element from nums. Here we have 0 first, and then 1, then 2, and then 3, then 4. After that, for list comprehension, before 4, we will do task. We will do that task for we are writing this code. So here we are using element. So I'm going to use element here. And what we have to do with that element, we just have to take a square of that element. So we are just going to take a square of that. And then we are going to store it into another list, which we can say SQ. After that, we are just going to print it. So you see that using one-liner, we convert this simple list into square of list. We can also do other tasks. This is one of the basic tasks. Let's say you want to take cube. You can also use cube in them. Okay. So there is one more addition, which in this comprehension you can also use conditions in that, such as if condition, else condition. So in below code, let's say I have a task. And what I have to do is that filter out odd numbers and take the square root of only even numbers. That means we have to use if condition. If we don't want odd numbers, then we will exclude that number using if. So in a simple way, we already have nums declared in the above code. Let's first write in a for loop in a simple way, then we will convert that code into list comprehension. What I'm going to do, I'm going to iterate through the array for num in nums, and then what I'm going to do is I have to declare our resultant array result square. Then we have to append it nums square. So, but our condition was to only take a square of those numbers which are even. So I will just simply take if condition if num modulus 2 is equals to 0. That means if we take modulus 2 of the number, the remainder is always 0. So if this condition is true, then we will take a square root of that. Okay. Now just Let me run this code. So it's now 0, 4, and 6, 0, and 0. Okay, so here first I also have to print our nums array. So in just a second, I think, yeah. So here we can see 1 is then odd, so it excluded from our list, and 2 is even, so 2 square is 4. It is also excluded, and 4 square is 16. So how we can convert this code into list comprehension? In list comprehension, we always use square brackets, and then what we do, we first write for loop for num in nums. I'm just converting this above code into list comprehension for the easiness. Okay, and what we have before 4 is our answer. So we will not take num square. It's simple. But we only want even numbers. So we will use if condition after our for loop. So I will use this condition here. If num modulus 2 is equals to 0. What I will do is I will store this to our result is square array. Then we will print it again. So did you see the answer doesn't change? So that means our list computation is working correctly, and you will be able to write this comprehension and how to write this condition with this comprehension. Okay, so now we are going to jump onto dictionaries. What this dictionary does is that dictionary takes pair of two values, key and values. It's similar to map in Java or object in JavaScript. Remember one thing, in dictionary, key is always unique. The duplicate key cannot exist in dictionary. So here we have dictionary with D, and we have cat with as a key and cute as a value. There are two keys and two values. So to access value, we have to use key for that. So we are just using the dictionary key to access that value. Also, sometimes we want to check if that key exists in this specific dictionary. For that, we have in keyword, and before that, we can write whatever key we have. If we have key in a string, then we have to use quotations. If the key is in number format, then we can simply use that number. And in D, not D, if that exists, then it will return true. N is just for Boolean operator. It exists to check if that specific thing exists or not, or doesn't exist, true or false. Let's say I'm going to declare one more thing. Let's say 2, and I'm going to declare Tanish. So I'm just going to check if that specific key exists in our dictionary. So it returns true. Now let's say I'm going to run I write something else. It returns false because 23 key is not exist in this dictionary. Okay. So here we have add new key and value. What we can simply add any key value paired in the dictionary by following pattern like this. Let's say we want to add name, Tanish, and let's say I want to add my age. I can simply add 20. Now, if we want to check if that element is existed or not, what we can do is we can print and take. Let's say I want to access the age. Name age is not defined. That's interesting. Okay, I didn't use inverted commas here. A string was missing because this age is in a string format. If I want to access this 2, then we can simply write 2 without using quotations. But to access the string, you have to use quotation marks. After that, let's say you are trying to access that specific key which doesn't exist. Here we can take an example of monkey. Monkey is not part of this dictionary tick, so it will return error because this key doesn't exist. So where we have our complete program and our program gives these kind of errors, our program terminates. So we have to use some other method to stop that error. How we can do that? So in Python, we have get function. What get function is to do is that it search the key. If that key exists in the dictionary, it will return the value of that. But if it doesn't exist, then it will return NA not applicable instead of that, whatever string we want to write here. So here we are trying to access monkey, but monkey is not part of our dictionary, so it will return NA. Here we can use NA. And if we talk about fish, fish exists, fish was here, and fish value is wet, so it will return wet instead of NA because fish key value pair exists in our dictionary. Now here we have del keyword. In Python, you can remove a specific element from the dictionary using his key and with del keyword. So when we delete fish key value pair from the dictionary, and after that we were trying to access it using get function, but what did we get? Okay, fish. Okay, I think I initialize fish here. Name D is not defined. Okay. I just changed the name for the better name. Okay, that now this should work now. Okay, so you can see it has NA now. Here, because we remove fish from our dictionary, so fish doesn't exist. Key value pair of fish is no more. Okay, if you want to learn about more function of dictionaries such as item pairs and item values, or there there are other functions, you can explore that into the documentation of dictionary. Okay, so here we have dictionary and we have item function in dictionary which help us to get the key and value pair both. So we are here iterating through the dictionary, and animal is our key and legs is our value. So we are just printing it using format function. It's simple. A person, it is just content. After that, we also have in above content before dictionary, we learned list comprehension. Now we can also create dictionary comprehension. Both of these are similar, but dictionary comprehension help us to create dictionary in an easy way using one liner. So here we have nums of list, which is initialized. After that, what we are doing is we are running for loop, which we learn in above line how we can write code in list comprehension. After that, we are also using if condition. This condition says that only takes even number, and x is the key here, and x square is the value here. So first it will take 0. 0 is even, yes, so it will take 0 as key, and square of 0 is 0, so it will show 0 key and 0 pair. But when we talk about 1 doesn't satisfy this equation, this condition. And similarly, if we take example of 2 is even, so it will store key as 2 and 2 square is 4, so value as 4. Here we have 2 and 4. That's the easy way to initialize and filter out the dictionary using the dictionary comprehension. After that, we also have sets. So sets and list and dictionary list are similar in storing element, but list has the order. You can access a specific element of the list using index, but set is unordered and numbers are stored randomly in the sets, so you cannot access by using index. Just like dictionary, we use curly braces in that. Also, for set, we can either use function set function, to initialize the set, or we can use similarly set in the curly brackets like dictionary. Here we have two strings of set, cat and dog, and there we are checking in condition. We already learned what is in. In is to check if that specific thing exists in our declared set dictionary or list. So here cat exists, but fish doesn't exist. Now what we are doing is we are okay. So what does the set? There a set has some function, such as set has add function. Set also has remove function and many more. So here we are adding fish in the animals, and then we are checking if fish exists in the animal. In the above code, fish doesn't exist, so it was false, but now it exists because we add that element. Now it is true. And at the end, we are checking the length of the animals. After that, we again add cat to the animals and then check the length. And then we discuss remove function. We remove cat from the set because we added before that, and then we again check the length. It's true now because we removed the cat. Okay, loops. Iterating over set has the same syntax as iterating over list. However, since sets are unordered, you cannot make assumption about the order in which you get the elements of the set. Okay. So you remember when we were running for loop? Just let me. When we were running for loop on the nums, it takes element by one. It follows the order. It jumps from 0 index to 1 index to 2 index and so on. But in sets, sets don't follow order. It is an unordered list. Okay. So what it has to do is just let me turn to the tuple part. Okay, so here we have animal set, and using enumerate function, we are iterating over this. Let's suppose if this was a list, it would first take cat and then dog, then fish, but it's a set. So it will take any element from this set and would print it. We have cat at the first, but it will print fish, then dog, then cat because it's another list. So it doesn't follow any order. After that, we also have set comprehension like list and dictionaries. We can easily use set comprehension for set. So here you can use for list, we use curly brackets, and for dictionary, we use square brackets like this. So curly brackets, okay, that before the square brackets. And for set, we are also going to use curly brackets. So here we have curly brackets on the left and on the right. And after that, we are running for loop, which we learn in list comprehension. And then we are taking the square root of that variable and then convert it as into int. And it will give us this set. Now we have learned list, dictionary, sets. Now we are going to learn tuple, how we can use tuple. So there is a difference between list and tuple. You can manipulate the item of the list, which we learned above. You can check out lecture 1 if you still have doubts. And tuple is immutable. Tuple is immutable because you cannot change any value in the tuple. And that's the main difference of mutable and immutable. Okay, so tuple is in many ways similar to a list. One of the most important differences is that tuples can be used as keys in dictionary and as element of sets, while list cannot. Okay, so I don't think this information will help you understand it, but I'm going to first explain tuple to you. So here we have created tuple. Usually tuple is denoted by square brackets. Okay, so here we have declared dictionary in which we are creating tuples as a key and value as a specific one element, and then we are printing d. So it will first start at 0 index for x in range 0 index, and it will store 0 plus 1 1 0, 1 tuple against 0. So 0, 1 tuple against 0, and it will so follow the procedure, follow the same steps, and this tuple act as a key of this dictionary, such as you can see here in it, we declare t and we store 5 6 in that 5 6 tuple in that t variable. After that, we are checking the type of t, which is tuple, because we already know that whenever we have square brackets and if we have round brackets, we call it a tuple. And then we are just using that tuple, we are accessing specific element of our dictionary. In dictionary, we have 5 6 as a key tuple, and the value for that is 5. So it will return 5 because we use t is 5 comma 6 also. Also, we specifically trying to use 1 2 sets, and then one on 1 2 key we have 1, so it will return 1 because we are accessing special specific element of our dictionary. So we are trying to update T0 into 1, and tuple doesn't support item assignment. So now we all know that we cannot change value of tuple. It's immutable. Now we are jumping towards function. I hope you have write function in Java in which we write public, void, or whatever the return type you want to set, or you can say function and then inverted commas. But in Python, you don't write function in this way. You follow the def keyword, and after that you have function name with it, and then whatever parameters you want to pass, you can pass in these square brackets, in these round brackets, and then you have to use the colon and as colon, and then you can start whatever code you want to write. So here we are checking if x is greater than 0, that means return positive, that means number is positive. If x is less than 0, negative, else return 0. So here we are iterating through the list in which there are 3 elements, minus 1, 0, 1. And we are taking each element and just giving this to sign function and checking if this number is negative, 0 or positive. Okay. After we will often define functions to take optional keyword arguments like this. So here we have function. In this function, we have defined loud is equal to false. So optional keyword argument means if we didn't give that argument to our function, it will take default argument. Otherwise, we can declare it. So in if else condition, we are saying that if loud is equal to true, that means we have to print uppercase. Otherwise, we have to print normal case. So we first use call hello function on Bob. Here we didn't convert loud into true, so that means loud is false. So it will not go into if condition. It will directly jump into else, and it will print hell Bob, as simple as that. But when we use loud is equals to true, it goes to this if condition and it prints uppercase letter of the hello, which is hello Fred. Now that was it for function. We are going to learn about classes. So in Python, you can simply declare class by using the class keyword, and then after that class name. And then you can declare a constructor. We use constructor to initialize value when we are creating object of the class. So constructor, you can use init function in Python, double for so the double slash before init and after init, and then you have to use self keyword, and then whatever arguments you have to pass. Self is compulsory. Instead of self, you can use the tarnish, and then you have to use tarnish in all other places because it stores the specific instant of the whole object. If you are creating an object and you want to keep track of each element of this object into a specific instance, then that self is used here. So here we are creating instant variable, and then we have defined one instant method, which is similar to this function. After that, what we have to do is we have create object of the class, and we have to give argument. So we have declared Fred,
instant variable, which was instant variable, and then we are calling both of these function, one without loud and one with loud. So when we use loud equals to true, it print capitalized thread. I think that was it for this introduction. I hope you learned how to define classes, how to write function, dictionaries, and sets and other things. I will see you in next session in which I will be discussing about arrays and 2D arrays. Thank you for watching.